Hello, hello, hello. We are back. Week 7. Roxy's Weekly Challenge. That's hashtag Roxy's Weekly Challenge. Her YouTube channel as well as the hashtag will be in the description box below as it is every week. But that is a reminder. So I've got a little prep work done ahead of time, and I'll clean this up as well as we go. But I went ahead and this is tracing paper, very thin. I didn't have anything printed out on tracing paper yet. So I went ahead and did that off camera. And once it was dry, I tore it down into 3 strips. Now, tracing paper, you have to have a really nice printer if you're going to do tracing paper without having to do some extra tricks to it. If you have basic, run-of-the-mill El Cheapo printer like I do, the easiest way that I have found that you can print images onto tracing paper is with the use of regular copy paper. This is a little thicker because it was what was in my printer already. But you take the tracing paper, imagine this is a full sheet. You take a piece of washi tape. You could, do just a bead of wet glue. Of course, if you're going to use a wet glue, you got to let it dry. Glue stick, just a little bit, and all you're doing is finding a way to secure the flimsy tissue paper to something a little more stable. Now, if you've got washi tape, that's like, kind of a throwaway product for something like this. This image that I printed out is Medieval Mirage. It's one of the ones that I printed out, purchased off of Etsy and printed out last week. So the first thing I'm going to do is go through each of these individual piles, and I'm just going to fold up a flap. Now I could create a little flap there, or excuse me, if you wanted it to be smaller, you could even fold it, completely in half, right? I'm just gonna create a little flap there. Okay. And then I went through my scrap bucket down there, and I just pulled out some random scraps, as well as, some book page and some digital prints that were down in there. And then I went behind me and pulled some stuff off the shelf so that I then had something a little extra going in here. These do not have to be the same width as your tissue paper. They can be wider, they can be narrower. It's entirely up to you. And again, this is a good way to use up scraps. So if you're doing it as a scrap busting exercise, you're probably not going to want to be tearing down the sides and making it smaller and creating more scraps for yourself, right? And again, I'm not going to be super worried about them being slightly wider. or even longer for that matter. I just don't want them to be like, 1.5 over. All right. So again, we started with the tissue paper. You're going to fold this however you want. Either fold just like a little flap there. Like I said earlier, you can fold it in half and make little happies. It's up to you. Okay. And then each little tissue flap gets a stack of scrap papers to go with it. And because you're on tissue paper, you do get some show through of the papers that are behind it. So, you probably want one that's going to be semi-decorative. Like I wouldn't want to put this behind it, for example, because then it's just dark on dark. Whereas putting the book page there, you can see some of the lettering coming through. Now, this is a very, very simple project. So this video will not be very long at all. Want the music page showing through on this one. Put the music page in. And this can be double-sided, single-sided paper. Again, like I said, it could be your scraps if you choose. It could be all digital prints. It can be whatever you want. For the sake of not creating yet more scraps there, I'm just folding that over, and then that whole page ends up usable. Same here. I think I'm going to flop that so that the fold is on the top, just so that it doesn't keep wanting to unfold like that and make things a pain in the booty for me. In addition to this, you are going to need some sort of binding, whether you use twine, use baker's twine, you use heavy thread. Like I have this, I don't even know what it is, but it's almost like what, I don't know. It's what I imagine like the sailors used for, making rope, but I don't know. That's probably totally has nothing to do with anything of that nature. And because Roxy did show 2 separate ways to bind these, I will also show you 2 separate ways to bind these. I also am going to need to figure out a pocket for this week's book, or for this week's page. So I'll probably just grab a random pocket out of my pocket box over on my shelf. You don't have to clamp this down. Personal preference. Just kind of helps keep the papers, in in line. Oh, it's really hard for me to do. So this is either 1-hole or 2-hole binding. Okay. And then this one I'm just going to do as a single. Because Chihuahua, this is hard on my hand. Ugh. So I just brought out my twine. Because I have 3, I'm going to go ahead and cut off 3 lengths. Not really measuring. I don't know if that was my notification or the the video that I'm watching. Boop, boop, boop. Just because we tend to have the same ringtones and notifications and so yeah, when I heard it, I'm like, wait, was that my phone or hers? All right, so if you're doing just a single hole, you can, if you have eyelets, you can put an eyelet on this. You can do hole reinforcers. Or you can just leave it as it is. Also a personal choice. I'm going to go ahead and take this off now because it's weight, it's heavy. And so as I'm trying to like maneuver stuff around, it's like wanting to pull everything to one side. So if you do this and you do it like an overhand knot, you can maneuver your knot down close to the top of your booklet here. Okay. And then I'm just going to trim off a little bit up here. We'll do the other single one. You could also double it, like so. Go through the hole, and then loop it this way. That's another quick and easy way to do with a single hole. Bet you guys are wondering, what in the heck is that even? What is the purpose? What is she making? Oops, my stuff got misaligned here. Oh. Not only did it get misaligned, but the papers weren't even lined up where they were supposed to be. So for the double hole, you can either go from the front to the back or back to front. Depends on where you want your knot to be. For me, I'm going to put mine in the front. And again, you want it to be tight enough to hold, but you don't want it to be tight enough that it's ripping your paper. And you want to be able to get your little booklet open. I'm going to do a third knot for safe measure here. And then I'm going to trim these little, trim those. Okay. put these away. Thinking I need a pocket anyway. Too wide. This one's going to be too wide as well. Yes, yes, it is. Excuse the sound of all the crunching. Those are all the same width. I just need a small pocket and a small envelope. Okay, and using the envelope going this way, it's not going to be wide enough. So I'm going to do it the other way. But first, I'm going to seal the pocket. Okay. Right about where the Sears name is. Cut that off. This will go over into my to-do box. I can turn that into a pocket in a little bit. My chair is getting really bad. I need to flip it over and put some oil on it. You know, it never really, I bought the chair and like within days it was squeaking already. But, you know, it's definitely getting worse. But, you know, when I first got it, I said within days it started squeaking really bad. And no matter where I oiled it, it still it squeaked. But at least it was squeaked quietly. You know, now it just sounds like a total raging fart fest. But I swear, it's my chair. See? It's the backrest part of my chair. Okay, I'm just sealed up that side since I cut it. I want the top to be open, not the side. Could have done it as a tuck. Okay, so what did I make? What is this? What is the purpose of this? You got a couple options. You could do this all as writing paper and make a little notepad to include in a journal. And then whoever gets the journal can tear pieces out of it and use it for journaling. The way Roxy has presented this week's challenge is that this is actually for collaging. So it's like a little bundle of collage paper. So I'm going to go ahead and use it, and I'm going to collage this little pocket here. Oh, I'm going to get a glue page. Or 2 or 10. How many ever I can grab with my tippies and my fingertips. I will be so happy when all of this is passed. Although I keep holding out hope that, once I don't know why my brain even thought, gave some thought that my throat would not be itchy like this once I'm over the medication withdrawals, because it was here before I started going through them. But I did just remember that I have not taken my meds this morning, which means I'm not taking my allergy pill. So that doesn't help either. But the itchy throat, it is just the nature of the beast for me. I couldn't tell you when it started. But it's just ever present now. Whenever I'm talking, trying to have a conversation with somebody, my throat starts tickling and itching, and then I start coughing really bad. So, in reality, if you're in my personal life, and you ever wonder why I don't call, and I do everything by text, this is why. This is a big reason why. Mm-hmm. 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 Take note. As long as I'm not talking, I'm not coughing. As soon as I start talking again, there it is. I don't know why I'm like sitting here trying to be all like perfectionist here. And don't forget, you have your tissue paper. This tissue paper is also can be used as collage. Just remember, it is see-through. So, if you're covering up something that's got writing on it, you're going to see the writing through the tissue paper. Whether it's tissue paper, vellum, and it's funny, at one point Rachel was like, I'm just going to call it see-through paper. She got tired of calling it, saying vellum or your vellum or tissue paper. So she just started saying your see-through paper, which I get. I mean, that, nothing wrong with that. Oh, yeah. I want to wrap that up and over. That's the opening to my pocket. Now, you maybe notice that my puck, everything is getting kind of smudgy and gross. And that is because my ink, my printer, is an inkjet. So my ink is not a permanent, once it's dry, it's not permanent, it's still not permanent. So using a wet glue, and then I kind of went like this. So it picked up some of the dye, some of the ink, off of the tissue paper. Let's set that off to the side. Come on, glue. Hate when it does that. Like sometimes it's got a mind of its own. And remember, the pocket is not necessarily part of this week's challenge, but I did use this week's challenge to decorate the pocket. And again, that's just so that I have something to hold these in. I'm going to put them both in there just so that there is both examples of how to tie the top. Okay, I'm going to trim these down. I don't want them hanging out the top like that. So I am creating a little bit of scraps for myself. Okay. Now they're not quite as sticky out the toppy. Where did I put them? Oh. Oh, it's right there, right in front of my face. Oy. It was blending in. Did I say week 7? I don't even remember. If I did, incorrect. This is week 6 of Roxy's weekly challenge. She is at the end of the week, not the beginning of the week. So I've already done week 6 of Marguerite Miller, already done week 6 of Carrie Griffiths. This is now week 6 of Roxy Creations. And tomorrow is week 6 of Scrapbusters with Melina and Gail. Melina has not put out her video for this week. And I'm not sure. I heard her mom had said something on her channel that there was an anniversary this week, and she's like, so I don't know if she's gonna get a video out, so I don't know. I hope so, because yeah. But anyway, there you have it. Week 6, Roxy's weekly challenge. I did just notice that my must have stuck my finger through that somehow. Somehow. As if I don't know how I stuck my finger through it, right? It's a good thing it's just my book. But anyway, there we have week 6, Roxy's weekly challenge. Short, simple, quick and easy. It's a good way to use your scraps. This I'm going to put over there on the shelf with the rest of my pre-made ephemera to put into a future journal. I may put it in my steampunky journal. I don't know. I have a tray of papers down here on the floor at my feet, dying and getting all grungied up. Different types of fabric. Different types of paper to use in my steampunk journal, so I can get that one started. In the meantime, hit the notification bell so that you get the alerts when I'm dropping a video, and we'll catch up with you next time. Bye.